Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tax That, Doing Finances the Divergent Way. So, hey, everybody. Welcome to Tax That, Doing Finances the Divergent Way. And today we are going to be talking about some of my biggest budgeting struggles and how I'm overcoming them. And so these are not things that I have already overcame. These are things that I still actively work through every single day to find my way to financial freedom. So I'm gonna try to talk a bit softer in this video, because as I was doing some editing on the previous videos, I realized that like either this mic is loud or really good, or I'm really loud, and I have not gotten good at mixing audio yet. So we're just gonna try to be a little demure, in our tone. We can get a little passionate, I can get a little loud. So um I'm going to go ahead and start a timer, because if I don't, I'm going to keep you guys here all day, and I don't want to do that. And so we are going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. So let's see if we can do that. And so again, I have my trusty laptop here to keep me on topic. And so, but we're going to talk about some of my biggest budgeting struggles and how I am currently working to overcome them. So struggle number one for me, and it's something that I still do every single day, is that first take accountability. I had to realize that there was a point in my life that I had no plan, no discipline, and no accountability. I had to look that woman in the mirror, and I had to tell her the truth about her life and how she got where she got and the role she played in how things are going in her life right now. So I had to get very real with myself and be very honest with myself. One really hard truth that I had to tell myself, and I mean really understand about myself, was that when it came to money, I was a highly selfish and a highly irresponsible adult and mom. Ouch. Like, even now, like, I know that doesn't feel good, because I love my daughter so much. So when I had to like really get real with myself and say, Monica, you are selfish and you are irresponsible, and that's the kind of mother that you are right now. I selfishly brought her into this world, and the path that I put her on was the pipeline to poverty. And I had to take a really hard look at myself, because until you acknowledge it, you can't work on it. And you can't actually fix it if you don't acknowledge it. So I had to acknowledge that, yes, eating McDonald's was more important than my child's future. Yes, going on trips was more important than my child's future. Yes, hanging out with friends was more important than my child's future. I was taking out payday loans. I was doing things highly irresponsible with my money. I was living with people that I shouldn't have been living with, also I could escape the responsibilities of being an adult and being a parent. So that was probably the biggest thing that I had to do. And when I say I still do this today, I mean every single day I'm still checking in the mirror, like saying, Monica, what decisions did you make today? Were they selfish? Were they good for your future, for your daughter's future? And this is not to shame myself. This is a very non-judgmental audit of my day-to-day decisions when it comes to my finances. Because if you do it with judgment, all it's going to do is induce you into a shame spiral, which actually made my spending worse. But I had to compassionately and non-judgmentally audit myself. And I still do this every day. Am I perfect at it? No. Do I still do things that are a little selfish? Yes. But I have made leaps and bounds since I began doing this, I want to say about 3 years ago. And so the next one was me acknowledging that although I have ADHD, ADHD is not an excuse for me to be irresponsible. And ADHD is not an excuse for me to be lazy. And ADHD is not a disability. ADHD just simply means that my brain is wired differently than the majority of people out here. If anything, I looked at ADHD as just a beautiful thing about humanity and how we're all made a little differently. I don't see it as a disability. Does it make life more challenging? Yes. But does it make life debilitating? Only if you allow it. And because I had gotten to a place where it was like, you can't even get medicated for it, it was, do I just accept that this is my reality, or do I decide that, am I going to be curious enough and bold enough to demand better? And so the third thing that I did was created a budget. I had to make a plan. Even though I had no idea where to start, I had no idea what to do, I needed to make a plan. And so even if the plan wasn't good, right, it's just make a plan. And all that means is do something, right? Because we can get stuck in this analysis paralysis. But if you just actually do something, because I learned that if I didn't give my money somewhere to go, it'll go somewhere and I won't know. And that's kind of the scariest place to be on your own, and also as a parent if you have no idea like where your money is going. So, struggle number two was me managing my impulsivity and learning emotional regulation. Emotional dysregulation is a hallmark of being neurodivergent. Having ADHD, there are certain things neurologically that don't give you as much of a buffer as a neurotypical person when it comes to emotional regulation. So I had to essentially get a PhD in me. 80% of this journey has been me learning me, getting a really high emotional IQ. You have to learn your triggers, you have to work through your traumas, and you have to learn coping mechanisms for your day-to-day life. This could mean having to go to therapy. This could mean having to hire a life coach, or going and seeking the free information that's out here. This could mean a lot of things, but your emotional intelligence is an investment. And I would say it's so much of an investment that doing anything with your finances is going to be pointless if you do not have your emotions, or at least a framework for how you're going to deal with your emotions on a day-to-day basis. And another thing that I did was I created space in my budget for my impulsivity. So with doing that, this was kind of allowing a space in my budget for my ADHD to be free, right? Because a part of it is that we're going to be impulsive. It's going to happen. So to try to act like it doesn't exist, or to like discipline it into oblivion, isn't realistic, right? Like we have to be realistic. We are wired differently, and we are having to operate in a world that is meant for neurotypical people. So with doing that, what I did was I made space in my budget for my neurodivergence, and I added what was called an ADHD tax. I forgot who I heard it from, but it was somebody here on YouTube, and I'm so sorry if I'm not crediting you. Please put it in the comment, where they basically made a comment saying that they just put it in their ADHD tax. It's the tax for just being neurodivergent. It's where the money goes that just, you have no idea what happened. I was being impulsive. I was doing this, I was doing that. And then the money just up and left and went somewhere. So I add an ADHD tax to my budget. So just like they take out federal taxes, for some of you guys, they may take out state taxes, they take out Social Security. I also have a percentage of money taken out of my check that goes directly toward my impulsivity. It is as important to me as it is paying my taxes. It is as important to me as it is paying myself. It is as important to me as it is paying my bills, because without that buffer, my brain can derail myself when it comes to my financial journey if I don't give it space to be able to just be free. So those are the things that I did when it came to managing my impulsivity and learning emotional regulation. And then struggle number three is I had to figure out ways to support my prefrontal cortex. And that is my executive function, my working memory, and my object permanence, right? So, as you all know, as a part of being neurodivergent, your prefrontal cortex is affected majorly. It's not wired like a neurotypical person. So, the way that I heard someone explain it before, and I love thinking about it this way, is like imagine you're in an office, right? And then you have the boss in his office, which is me, and then you have the assistant. The assistant's job is to, not set up the calendar, move around appointments, let people in who may have a meeting, reschedule meetings, don't let people in, things like that. Well, for neurotypical people, that works well. The boss is able to get done the work they need to get done. They have a productive day. The company does well. For those of us who are neurodivergent, just imagine that your assistant is just letting everybody in. The calendar is completely scrabbled. She's out there filing her nails and she is just like, job who? What who? And how effective would a boss be? How productive would that boss be? How much work would get done? None, nothing at all. Like, that assistant needs to be fired. But unfortunately, we can't fire our prefrontal cortex. So I think about it like this. What I'm going to do is, while you sit there and look pretty, okay, I'm going to outsource your job. So I find creative ways to outsource the things that my executive function would, for a neurotypical person, be responsible for. So examples of this is like, I use my whiteboard for object permanence. And for me, object permanence isn't just a physical object in front of me, it's also due dates. It's also when my bills are due and what bills are due, because I don't always remember everything, right? Did I sign up for that subscription? Did I cancel it? When is my phone bill due? It's due at the same time every month. And I'm still like, huh? So things like that. I also have a calendar that's on my wall where I put my social events and I put my doctor's appointments and my work schedule on that calendar. So that is the only reason why I know when my daughter has a school dance, or I know when my dentist appointment is, or I know if I'm off today or not. And on the whiteboard is my bills, my due dates, and my upcoming expenses, so that I know, Monica, you have to renew your tags in 2 months, or Monica, you need an oil change in 3 weeks, so I'm aware of those things and I see them every day because I put it in a high traffic area. So for me, because I work from home, it's right there in front of me at my office. So I also, what this does is this also frees up room in my brain to do what it wants to do, which is focus on the expansion of my home and my growth. So because my brain is safe and secure, because it knows that I've put things in place to make sure that my day-to-day things get done, it can just go and flutter the way that it likes to and come up with creative ways to do the things that it actually wants to be able to do. So I also utilize my phone. I utilize reminders and alarms. The reminders, if you have an iPhone, there's actually a setting, there's one that I like to use. There's a setting where I'll have a reminder and it says remind me when, and I'll have it remind me when and whoever the person is that I text the most, because I got to a place where if the reminder is just up there on on the screen of my phone, my brain will see it and then completely dismiss it, right? But if I have it like pop up on the person that I'm texting the most, I'm like, okay. And it's not just sitting on the front of my screen where I can just, it just fades into the background noise. So I have that. I use sticky notes and flashcards a lot, and I tape them, well, not around the house, just because my ADHD won't let me put it everywhere. Because another side of ADHD is, yes, you can be messy, but in some areas you can be like hyper organized. So I have the one area where I let myself put the sticky notes. It's not all over my house, but I like to use sticky notes and index cards to be able to put things that I like and I want to remember, but I don't want to load my brain with having to remember that. So I put it on sticky notes and I put it on my wall. And when it's done, I move it. Or even if it's just like a nice quote or whatever that kind of keeps me going, I like to put things like that out. So those are just some of my biggest budgeting struggles and how I still actively every day work to overcome them. So I would love to hear from you guys. If you could put some of your biggest budgeting struggles and some of your biggest budgeting wins. I want to hear some of that, because maybe you came up with some ideas that I haven't, and we can kind of, exchange and see what works. And I would love to hear from you guys. And that way we can just kind of all, see what's working for who, because it's such a cool thing when you're like, I never thought about trying something like that. And then you try it and you like it, or you try it and you hate it. But it's like, at least you tried it, or at least you had the idea, right? And so please drop that in the comment. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Please give this video a thumbs up so it can reach whomever it needs to reach, so we can grow this little community over here in this corner of YouTube. And I really enjoyed creating this video for you guys, and I hope you got something very helpful and very valuable out of it. Also, if there's anything that you guys want me to talk about or anything you want to know about, make sure you drop that in the comments as well. I'm definitely here to curate this according to whatever your needs are. And so, but again, I think I already told you, like, subscribe, share, all the things, all the YouTuber things that we're supposed to say, right? And so with that being said, thank you guys so much for stopping by Tax That, doing taxes doing taxes. Tax that, doing finances the divergent way. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. We need to set realistic expectations for ourselves and to realistically expect yourself to only take 10 minutes when you be talking for hours at a time, girl. Anyway, I think we did better though. Oop. Is this camera on? Is this? Lord have mercy. Hi, people. Hi. I'm gonna get better at this. I promise.